I never imagined that the strongest moment of my life would come from the softest voice I have ever known, my mother's. Throughout my life, I have faced pressure, failure, success, and expectations strong enough to break anyone. I built mental armor piece by piece, preparing myself for every challenge the world could throw at me. Yet nothing prepared me for the day her simple words shattered walls I didn't even realize I had built. It wasn't a speech. It wasn't advice. It wasn't even a long conversation. It was just a few honest words, fragile, gentle, unpolished, and suddenly everything inside me shifted. In that brief moment, I realized how blind I had been to her sacrifices, her silent strength, and the quiet love that shaped every step of my life. You can build rockets, companies, dreams, but one sentence from your mother can still bring you to your knees. And that day she did. Unexpected emotional moments arrive without warning. They slip into your life at the exact moment you believe you've built enough mental protection to stay untouched by anything sentimental. For someone accustomed to expectations, responsibility, and constant performance, emotions become something to manage, not something to feel. You put your feelings neatly behind logic. You replace vulnerability with plans. You trade sentiment for progress. But a moment like this doesn't knock. It simply walks in and strips away years of hardened layers with a single breath of sincerity. It might be a simple sentence, a memory she recalls, or even a quiet acknowledgement of pride. Yet it hits with the weight of years, years of love, years of sacrifice, years of silent belief. It reminds you that behind the noise of success or struggle, there is still a heart that recognizes the very first voice it ever trusted. This moment becomes powerful because it exposes the gap between who you've become and who you used to be. When a mother speaks from a place of honesty, her words reach a version of you untouched by achievements, titles, or expectations. They touch the child you once were, the child who didn't understand the meaning of stress, ambition, or responsibility. The emotional reaction that follows isn't weakness. It's recognition. Recognition of truth. Recognition of sacrifice. Recognition of love that never asked for anything in return. It's as if her words bypass your brain entirely and speak straight to the place where your earliest memories were formed. The tears that come aren't planned. They aren't controlled. They simply arrive, carried by the weight of everything she has silently endured on your behalf. This kind of moment forces reflection. It grounds you. It pulls you back from the pace of life that sometimes moves too fast to feel anything deeply. It shows that even the strongest minds can be humbled by the gentlest touch, the soft voice that raised them. Human roots have a way of resurfacing when life becomes crowded with responsibilities, deadlines, and ambitions. As adults, we often forget the quiet beginnings, the small home, the early struggles, the moments of uncertainty that shaped us long before the world cared about our accomplishments. A mother's single heartfelt sentence can bring all of that back in an instant. It cuts through ambition. It silences fear. It reconnects you with the foundation that made everything possible. It reminds you that before the challenges, before the recognition, before the pressure to lead or succeed, you were simply a child trying to understand the world. And she was the one guiding you through it, step by step, without any guarantees for herself. This reminder is powerful because it shows that no amount of success can erase where you came from. Human roots are built from memories, some painful, some beautiful, but all essential. They form the unseen scaffolding that holds you steady through storms, failures, and victories. A mother remembers every detail of that scaffolding more vividly than anyone else. She remembers the early dreams you whispered before sleep. She remembers the small victories you celebrated as if they were world records. She remembers the mistakes, the fears, the setbacks, and the moments when you almost gave up. So when she speaks from that memory-filled place, her words reach deeper than logic ever could. They remind you that no matter how high you climb, your true identity is rooted in the love and values she planted long before success was even an idea. As adults, we only begin to understand her sacrifices when life teaches us the weight of responsibility. As children, we assume her strength is automatic, her patience endless, her support guaranteed. But adulthood reveals the truth behind these illusions. When a mother shares a story or a memory that exposes what she carried alone, the sleepless nights, the fears she hid, the struggles she swallowed, it hits harder than anything else in life. Suddenly, the invisible becomes visible, and in that moment, the heart understands what the eyes ignored for years. This realization connects her sacrifices to your present achievements. It reveals that every step you take today is built on ground she prepared. Yesterday, quietly, humbly, without ever asking for gratitude, she gave up opportunity so you could chase yours. She traded her comfort for your future. She endured storms you never even saw. When this truth finally sinks in, it does more than create gratitude. It creates humility, deep emotional humility. You understand that your success is not just your journey, it's hers too. And that awakening brings a kind of emotion no logic can contain. The power of simple words lies in their purity. Complex conversations can be debated, analyzed, or dismissed. But simple words, raw, honest, unfiltered, strike the heart directly. They don't need explanation. They carry truth on their own. When a mother says, "I'm proud of you," or "I knew you'd make it," those words carry the weight of your entire life story. They carry every moment she lifted you without letting you fall. Every encouragement she whispered when quitting seemed easier. Every unseen act of love she gave without expectation. These words are powerful because they require nothing in return. They exist purely to remind you of how loved you are, how believed in you were from the very beginning. For people used to thinking in strategy and logic, this sudden emotional clarity can be disarming. But that is the beauty of simple words. They speak the truth plainly, without armor, without complexity, without a shield. A mother's softness, her gentleness, often gets overlooked, especially in a world that glorifies loud strength and visible resilience. But her strength operates differently. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't seek validation. Her strength exists in the way she endures silently, in the way she forgives effortlessly, in the way she loves unconditionally. This softness is not weakness. It is the strongest form of resilience you will ever encounter. It is a strength forged in patience, sacrifice, and unconditional love. And sometimes all it takes is one gentle sentence from her to remind you of everything that truly matters. It's in the calm reassurance she gives when everything feels overwhelming that you truly understand the quiet power of a mother's love. In the way she can settle fears with just a few comforting words, her softness becomes an invisible foundation, one that shapes a person's ability to persevere, to feel compassion, and to stay grounded even when life turns chaotic. As someone grows older, that softness begins to reveal its true nature. What once seemed gentle now looks undeniably strong. You start to see the weight she carried behind every smile. You recognize the hidden courage behind every moment she encouraged others while silently battling her own worries. And you realize that the stability she provided came at times when life wasn't stable for her at all. This kind of strength doesn't come from physical endurance or dramatic declarations. It doesn't come from proving anything to the world. Instead, it comes from love, a love that chooses patience over frustration, commitment over convenience, and hope over hardship. It is the belief that her child deserves the best parts of her, even when she has very little left to give. When a person finally recognizes this truth, the emotions can be overwhelming. They begin to understand that the courage the world praises in them is a reflection of her unwavering calmness. The determination others admire in them is rooted in her consistent encouragement. Her gentleness becomes the blueprint of their strength. The softness behind strength teaches a lesson many people learn too late, that real power isn't always loud. It doesn't always roar or demand attention. Sometimes the strongest hearts express their power through kindness, patience, and quiet persistence, even while carrying battles no one else sees. And when a mother finally reveals even a glimpse of the vulnerability behind her softness, it creates a moment so deeply human that it can overwhelm even the strongest person. It reminds them that the gentlest hearts often carry the heaviest stories, and yet they continue giving, loving, and believing with unwavering devotion. Gratitude that arrives late but hits deep is a special kind of awakening. It unfolds slowly, often when life has finally quieted someone enough to reflect. In youth, gratitude is overshadowed by ambition, urgency, and the constant push toward the next achievement. Appreciation becomes something postponed, something people assume they'll have time for later. But as responsibilities grow and life becomes more complex, a quiet truth begins to surface. Gratitude is not just a polite feeling. It is a profound recognition of the people whose footprints shaped the journey long before it was visible to the world. When that understanding finally arrives, it doesn't enter softly. It strikes with emotional force because it uncovers years of unnoticed effort and unspoken acts of love. It reveals the sacrifices that were too easy to overlook in the rush of growing up. And it brings to light the countless moments of care that blended into the background simply because they were always there. A mother's love often lives in this unseen category. Her sacrifices feel so constant, so reliable, that people unconsciously assume they require no acknowledgement. Her presence feels like a natural part of life's structure. Only later, sometimes, much later, does a person realize how much of their resilience, their optimism, and their strength were shaped by her quiet influence. And when that realization comes, gratitude transforms. It stops being a simple thank you. It becomes an emotional awakening, a deeper understanding of what was given and what was lost along the way. This gratitude hits deep because it carries both appreciation and a gentle regret. Not regret for what she did, but for not recognizing the depth of it sooner. When someone finally understands the true weight of what their mother gave, her time, her energy, her dreams, they feel a surge of emotion that cannot be ignored. It becomes a moment of undeniable clarity, a moment in which gratitude shifts into love, respect, and a desire to honor everything she sacrificed without hesitation. And as life goes on, this understanding becomes one of the most grounding truths a person can carry. It humbles them. It softens them. It reconnects them with the humanity they may have lost in the pursuit of success or survival. It reminds them that the strongest parts of who they are were shaped by someone who built strength through softness. In the end, everything circles back to one undeniable truth. No matter how far we go, no matter how much we achieve, the people who shaped us in silence often remain the most influential. A mother's love, steady, patient, and unconditional, has a way of grounding us more powerfully than any achievement ever could. These unexpected emotional moments, especially the ones that arrive with just a few sincere words, remind us that beneath every layer of ambition lies a heart shaped by the person who never stopped believing in us. Sometimes it takes only one honest sentence from her to unlock years of unspoken gratitude, one gentle moment to reveal how deeply her guidance has woven itself into everything we are. This realization is humbling, it is emotional, and it is profoundly human. It reconnects us with our roots and reminds us that true strength isn't found in what we build. It's found in the love that built us. So to everyone still on their journey, still striving, still learning, may you find the courage to appreciate the people who shaped your path while they are still here. May you understand the love behind their sacrifices, and may their quiet strength continue guiding you forward, even in the moments when you feel lost. Thank you for listening, and thank you to every mother whose love makes us stronger than we ever realize.